Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, we're talking about Blink Twice. Um, so this movie stars Channing Tatum. Um, let's see, Adria Arjona, Naomi Aki, Aaliyah Shawkat, Haley Joel Osment. A bunch of actors that I feel like most people know, at least a couple. Christian Slater. What's his name? Simon Rex. I mean, just Gina Davis. Pretty star-studded cast for this film, I have to say. This film is about a girl who goes to a billionaire's private island, and things start getting weird. Essentially, I will get into spoilers, but let me just kind of give my thoughts. So, this film had potential, I feel like, to be so much better, but I feel like it fell just a little bit short in a certain area. But other than that, I would say it's enjoyable enough for most people to not really nitpick anything really too wrong with it. But I'd say for a casual viewer, 100% a casual viewer would love this. But for either like a movie buff or someone who watches movies a lot like me, I tend to notice things a little bit easier than the casual viewer. So it's three stars out of five, but I would still suggest giving it a watch. It's on Prime, so go give it a watch. Um, so let's get into some spoilers. So one thing I got really turned off by pretty much immediately because it's at the beginning of the movie is, and I don't know if it's just that Prime specific does it or if it's actually like a part of the film. God, I hope not. They give a trigger warning, which threw me off because uh, first, it's the first time I've seen like a trigger warning for a film. Maybe I've seen like another couple, maybe like a year or two ago. But as soon as I saw that trigger warning, I'm like, and in the trigger warning, they uh, give like specific, or I wouldn't say specifics about the film, but in the trigger warning, it shows like it says something about men and stuff like that, men in power, and right there, it's like you're spoiling your film right there by knowing that these girls going to this island, they're billionaire men in power, and we all know what results into that based off of repeated history in the past in the states here. So I knew they were going to be complete scumbags, and it was going to be sort of like a tropical island getaway. I think you know where I'm getting with that. Um, like you don't have to put that in. Um, it ruins it for the movie completely, and I don't get it at all. Um, because without a trigger warning, I feel like I can still kind of see where the movie's going, but once they get to the part where she's recalling her memories, essentially, I if you didn't have a trigger warning in there, I feel like it would hit a lot harder, knowing what these men are doing to these women. And it just didn't hit as hard at all because I'm like, oh, well, I got a warning at the beginning, so I got to watch out. And that's another thing. When you get a warning for anything, you're going to tend to be a little bit more cautious about things. So a lot of people are going to be a lot more cautious when watching this film. And it doesn't make sense for me personally. I actually ran a poll on my ex and I asked, do you think certain movies should have trigger warnings? Uh, Only 13 votes, but majority said no. Trigger warnings don't work. Many studies say they actually cause anxiety. Yeah, right there. That's another one. Absolutely not. So, like, It doesn't make sense. The acting in this film was great though. Um, not to not to drag on or be mean to Channing Tatum, but um, I feel like he needs to do more serious roles to kind of flesh out his acting chops just a bit more. And by no means am I saying he's an awful actor. I'm just saying um, he felt like a Brad McQuaid, if that makes sense, from 21 and 22 Jump Street. It sort of felt like that character. And I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I feel like if he does more drama based roles and more serious roles in the future, I honestly think he's got big potential um, for possibly getting nominated for an Oscar at some point. I really see this guy going further than he's ever been, and I feel like he's going to be a big surprise in the future. The women all banding together at the end, I thought it was super badass to see that. I do love a good revenge plot. I'm not going to lie. And I feel like, honestly, if so, for me, this film would have been so much more better if they would have maybe fleshed out our main two girls in the beginning instead of just kind of rushing into the island because like that's the main focus is this island that they go to, so it feels like it's rushed in the beginning. I feel like if they added like an extra even 5 to 10 minutes of just kind of exposition and like fleshing this character out just a little bit more so that we can get an idea of who she is and maybe like what her past is as well. And then I feel like it would have hit just a little bit harder if we would have had that. Um, Another thing is I understand like runtime for a lot of people is a big thing. It's an hour and 42 minutes. I feel like they could have pushed it to 2 hours and just added extra details throughout the film as well, just to give it a little bit more body. Because at times there's a lot of plot and exposition that's really going on. Like you've got because it's couples essentially on this island, so you've got this couple doing this couple doing that, and so you're kind of bouncing between these people, and I think they combated that by doing the sort of repetitive montage. Wake up in the morning, somebody's asking for for Jess's lighter, and then they just kind of go through their day. And I think they also did that because it's showing that they can't remember that they've been doing the same stuff every single day, essentially, and they just have no recollection of any of it. But yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's a reverse Fantasy Island, essentially. If you've ever seen the original Fantasy Island show, I'm not talking about the movie. I haven't seen the new Fantasy Island movie, but I heard it really sucks. But yeah, I would say go out and watch it, and then kind of form your own opinion based off of what you think this movie's about. But it's a 3 out of 5 for me.